India has not taken a position yet because we seem to be more reactive, and where we had a clear advantage in terms of the raw materials of fashion. All kinds of natural fibers are available in India. From cotton, our production itself is the world's number 2, and we are still struggling to really look at MMF as an alternative for the winter garments. And we have also silk, and we have wool, and we have natural fibers from pineapple and banana and various kinds of other raw materials available in India. So if you look at it as a crucible or a repository of all kinds of natural fibers available, we have the techniques which are completely fascinated the world. The embroidery technique, the sardozis and the ari work and the fulkaris and the chikankari and the various value addition techniques which we know and very inherent to our heritage are all there in terms of actually the real luxury. And there is also a possibility of looking at India's various ports and airports which are now developed across the country, connecting every small city, also becoming a network in India. So the logistics, the availability of ports, the availability of manufacturing facilities, some of the largest logistics centers have been opened in Nagpur, for example. We have every kind of possibility to become a world-class supplier in very fascinating fast fashions and higher fashions area, with more focus on creativity and design and innovation. But when you look at our real contribution, unfortunately, the educational institutions have not focused sufficiently on research and innovation, and we are very low in terms of even consumers, even companies spending on research and development. More or less is always about 2 or 3% of the turnover at best, and most often it is on incremental aspects rather than breakthrough technologies. Whenever we are looking at technologies, just look at a very common brand like Otto in Germany. It has been reported in The Economist that they have been able to make out an artificial intelligence application by looking at almost the 200 variables and about 1 billion transactions or more of the customers in the previous period, and come out with a predictive system by which 96% accuracy they are able to predict about 200,000 units, which does not now require human intervention in terms of ordering. This has been reported in Economist as a very major article, telling that it's not only Amazon and Google's of the world which are using artificial intelligence and technology and new products to really become competitive, but even common brands like Otto have been able to do that. But when we look at our country, somewhere or other, despite the availability of large number of engineers and 30 years of production of shaping of fashion designers and designers, industrial designers and interior designers and space designers and interior designers and various kinds of technologies, we are still unable to come out with breakthrough innovations which are disruptive to the new 4.0 industrial revolution kind of approach. We are still scared in terms of what it will do, how it will actually sweep across countries and take away our jobs. And the job losses which are beginning to happen in certain industries show that repetitive, automatable, computerizable, advanced manufacturing, compliant kind of areas are likely to be really consumed with a real fast changes, technological changes, which will make the jobs disappear in no time. However, there are also positive indications that it is not all, that kind of a gloomy picture. When the job losses are there, there are also job creation of a new kind of jobs, but requires new kind of skills. One thing which will always isolate every country is probably the crafts, as you have seen, very least susceptible in terms of it being affected by any kind of automation beyond a point. Same thing, creativity and innovation. It's like a big fortress around any country. If you have solid creativity being generated in the people, if they are being promoted to create innovative ideas all the time and create that into commercializable products and services, and you are creating a generation of such people who are able to create this fortress around the sweeping technological and automation kind of changes, the country can progress. Otherwise, by 2030, or 35, when India's population demographic bulge, the pyramid which it is today, starts becoming more like a kite or it's already written that 1 out of every 6 persons of India after 2035 will become aged or start aging. So if the population becomes almost 14 to 20% aged, then we start calling it an aging society. So the crucial period between now to 2022, when India turns 75, and to 2035, when India's demographic bulge starts fading out, and 2050, by which time the 4.0 revolution would have really swept across, and the jobs would have completely undergone change, we have to solidify the research for innovation and creativity and creating our intellectual property very strong. Our intellectual property regime is still more in paper and more in universities and institutions trying to just register to show numbers. But in terms of commercializable breakthrough ideas, which are more or less, you can say it is an empty space. Most of the ideas are just taken from abroad, and we are trying to rehash it as our own ideas. Mostly it is not original, and we are yet to come across something which will say that this is our true design from industrial design people or from fashion design. We say that these are true, remarkable, revolutionary concepts which have come in and which is now going to take the world by storm, or any other ideas and services which can really take the world by storm for people who will take this idea and say that it belongs to India, instead of all the time talking about that we invented zero and we invented this and that in the age-old times. That is a story, that is past. Living in past is not going to help us to shape the future. Future is disruptive. Future is not necessarily a continuum. It is going to be a very different world which we are going to see in the next 10 years. And the institutions, the design institutions, the creative institutions need to be at the forefront to actually create a fortress for India to really remain competitive, especially in industries like apparel, which is already about 2 million people are already in apparel industry alone. And if you take the total industry of textile apparel value chain, it is about 12 crores of people, about 10% of India's population, directly and indirectly. So if we need to find jobs for our people, this industry, the fashion, apparel, design industry is very, very critical, especially for women to join the workforce, which will have an impact on India's GDP. And this is all connected. It cannot be taken in isolation and seen. Which are the industries which are going to create jobs after agriculture? The biggest issue is that from migration of agriculture to manufacturing, or manufacturing to service, a part of it will come to manufacturing, part of it will go to services. But this part which is going to come from agriculture to manufacturing is not going to take up very high-tech jobs mostly. They are going to take up low-tech jobs. And it is very fascinating that this particular report of future of jobs and the future of 4.0 revolution says very optimistically, in industries such as textiles, pharmacy, beverage and agriculture, predominantly the low-tech industries, notwithstanding pharma, there has been limited adoption of 4.0 approach at this stage. This means that we have a long leeway to actually solidify our creativity and innovation in textile apparel value chain, so that this continues to provide the jobs for this India's youth and population, especially women and especially the rural population of India.